All right, we good? Hey folks, Andrew Wright from SureFire. Welcome to the SHOOT Show. Obviously, SHOT Show is not happening this year, so we decided to do a little event ourselves direct and just connect with the customers. The agenda for today and for each day as well, we're going to do some giveaways. So first and foremost, we're giving away X300s, Scout Lights, Stiletto Pros, War Comps, and we're doing like several of those. I think there's 3 each per day. There's a link in the description of our video, also on our Instagram, for the entry form. Go on there, fill it out, and we're going to pull names each day, and we're going to give them away live. So be sure to get in for that. Also, we're going to be chatting with a couple different firearms instructors each day. Today, we're talking with Bill Blowers in just a little bit. We're going to shoot. We're going to talk a little bit about different relevant training topics and just some stuff that you might find interesting. Hopefully, some knowledge will be transferred for sure. Also, discount codes. So we're doing a fun little thing. Occasionally, on the bottom corner of the screen, you're going to see a code pop up. That is a web-only Pro Deal code that'll get you 40% off your order. It's one-time use and first come, first serve. So keep an eye out for it. And that's not just entering the code, just so you know. You have to check out and actually finish the order to be the one that uses it. So you might enter it and not fully check out with your order. You have to fully process the order for that to go in. We're doing a couple of those occasionally through the stream. So if you want something, keep an eye out for the code. They're going to pop up. After we're done talking with Bill, we're going to roll a never-before-seen video, kind of behind-the-scenes film of a tour of how we make lights. And it's a really interesting, in-depth look at how we make lights. After that, we're going to meet with a couple subject matter experts from SureFire and talk some new products, and with some more giveaways at the very end. And that's the basic agenda for each day. Tomorrow is the same thing. We got Jared Reston in the beginning that we're going to be talking to. And then on Thursday, we're going to be talking with Matt Pranka from X-Ray Alpha. So that's a quick rundown. I think I hit all the points that I need to. So yeah, let's do a couple giveaways before we jump in to talking with Bill. So up first, we're going to do X300 Ultras. And the winner is Giovanni Luvano Rico. That is an amazing name. Hopefully you get lots of girls. I think you do. After that, X300 Ultras, Victor Valenzuela. You have won an X300 Ultra as well. Then there's Ryan Akins. You have won an X300 Ultra. Congratulations. By the way, it was mentioned to me that there might be duplicate names. We're going to email you. We have all your information if you entered the form. We're going to email you to confirm, and then we'll go about shipping. Oh, I should also mention, each one of these products that we're giving away, the Scout Lights, the X300s, the War Comps, and the Stiletto Pros, we're also going to ship a set of Ear Pro for you as well. It's awesome products. So up next, let's do the Stiletto Pros. We got 3 of those. Stiletto Pro is an awesome EDC light for those not familiar, not to take up too much time on the product, but super slim, really, really nice, rechargeable, everyday carry, awesome light, tail cap activation, as well as a bezel switch, micro USB. So then the next winner is Micah White. Congratulations, Stiletto Pro. Then there's Manuel Kitt and Joshua Mayberry. Joshua Mayberry, congratulations on those products, guys. So we're going to be doing some more polls at the end of this episode. Be sure to stay tuned in. And then if you're trying to enter, wondering where to enter, you just tuned in late, the link's in the description on how to enter for the giveaways. We're doing more at the end. Yeah, also, engage in the comments. I'm going to jump in here shortly. So if you have any questions for anybody, be sure to put them in the comments and we'll try and stay on top of them. But yeah, so up next we got Bill Blowers from Tap Rack Tactical. Let's get him in here. Hey, Bill.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning. All right, man. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. Yeah, no issues, no worries, man. New year, ready to start training again. Weather is changing, so that's always a good thing. Ready to get after it.
Yeah, man. This is a first-time kind of live event for us, so bear with us. You know, we're in the learning phases of figuring this whole thing out, but I appreciate you joining us. real quick before we dive into some questions I had for you on like the training side of things, can you give the viewers, I mean, I think most people probably familiar, we've done a lot with you, but for those not familiar, just a quick, 50,000 foot view of your background and what you do?
Right. Yeah. So retired from law enforcement 3 years ago, almost to the day. 26 years as a cop, 22 on SWAT. Prior to that, I was in the Army for 6 years. Started teaching SWAT-related topics, firearms, around 1994, and just kind of continued on with that. So the primary focus of the company was SWAT-related topics to start out with. Obviously, that includes guns, and so now teaching firearms around the country for citizens, not just cops, and then the SWAT classes, the tactics classes are still just every now and then.
Awesome. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right, man. So jumping right into it, one of the things that we were talking about, and this is kind of an obvious one, but maybe not for everybody. First of all, what's your home defense, your go-to like nightstand gun, or what if you hear a bump in the night, what are you grabbing?
Yeah, so it depends what's going on. The defense rifle with a SureFire scout on it. I typically leave all turned on to the visible laser setting. I'm not sitting there with a helmet and nods on the rest of the I may activate the vis laser or use my own suppressed. Obviously, I got to be concerned about my wife and her hearing, so that would be the norm. And then sometimes it's a Walker Q5 with an X300V on it. The X300V is just the light I typically keep on so I can transition in the daytime. And it's plenty of information for inside the house. So last night was just a pencil and the rifle stuff that we say.
Yeah, that makes sense. So would you say, in your mind, is it an essential thing to have a weapon light on a home defense gun?
Man, yeah, I think so. So there are times where I'm traveling and stuff where I've had my Glock 43 and my 11 Pro. Doing a commercial here for SureFire. Anyway, and just a little in here. I always think about if something happens where I need to jump, I'm trying to access two things, one or two things, and come up with a light on and do what I need to do. Which is if I just have a weapon on a light, I can snatch the pistol, snatch the rifle, and have everything I need in my time. So I think it's a less traumatic issue. And if I'm being honest about how I sleep and how I wake up, I think that's the best bet for me personally.
Yeah, I agree. There's a whole lot of new firearms owners, some of which may be tuned in. What do you think is first and foremost for the new gun owners? Is it probably get training, watch some YouTube videos? Any suggestions for new gun owners that are not too familiar with, tactics?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you can right on your own. You can spend that knows something about shooting, that kind of thing.
Getting a reverb.
I don't believe that there is a substitution for legit training on some of the action. There's a whole variety of that stuff too, right? I mean, the local range guy can probably with basics of loading, gun safety, legal aspects of carrying a gun and using a gun and self-defense, that type of thing. And so he's way to get started with just a local range. And I think as we progress, as most people do, there's no shooting to get real interested in getting better. Potentially, then you want to move on to and the guys you have on this week, I think, and Frank, I mean, those guys know what's up. So things like that may be the next step. You've got the basics kind of dialed in and understanding. On my postal class, guys, last week, prerequisite. I don't really have any. I'll just tell them, hey, man, do you understand load, not load, how to safely drill for range etiquette, range safety, if you do all those things, and I don't care what you're putting on the table, right? I think class instruction from a really competent guy and a new guy can both coexist on the range, right? You just adjust the accuracy every time for where you're going at. So, yeah, I guess the short answer is training, man. That's for sure.
I got you. No, I agree. I agree 100%. I think that's all good points. One of the things that we talking about here, which I think is an interesting topic, night vision use for law enforcement. There's a little bit of it's a controversial subject, it seems, for some people, even in our industry. There's, I think, one side which is it can be a huge tool for officer safety, I think. And then, some people say that the majority of law enforcement don't have the time or the training opportunity or funds to be proficient enough to where they should be operating under night vision. It's an interesting topic, and I wanted to pick your brain on what are your thoughts about that.
Yeah, so I think, the first time you and I met was about this topic, and what was occurring with my team and where we were at. At that point, I think we were about 4 years, 3, 4 years trying to be really night vision proficient and use it to the utmost of its capability. Um, we had spent a lot of money on night vision, and we had our team members about on the SWAT team was, man, if we're going to spend that money, then we want to use this software. It shouldn't just sit in the trunk of the car and take it on occasion. So, good courses like going down to Darcy, our guys, and there's a night vision piece of there. And it was on the night where good guys have night vision and the bad guys don't. That you finally get some payback on those on the role player, and it really illustrates just what an advantage it is. So from that, my girlfriend Chuck Pittsburgh now, consultant, came up, listened to his experiences along with his AI. Um, what he was bringing to the table, the information we got from him. We sent guys out to a lot of training, and then I think the other thing, then, the investment in time had to be. So we spent 18 months before we decided we were ready to go operational. All mission sets. So I think there's a huge advantage to it. You know, there is a case law right now that prohibits me from doing it in any way, shape, or form in the service of search or performance of my duties. I think that that's probably going to happen as more guys start using this stuff. We end up with different things occurring. We'll start to get some case law coming down that maybe gives you some parameters for it cannot be used. But right now, of course, it's the same as a flashlight. Enhances vision in the dark, and that's it. Uh, you mentioned officer safety, and I think that is, of course, a huge thing, right? I wanted me and my mates to stay safe and not get hurt doing our jobs. But I also think there's a huge suspect safety issue with it. Because if they can, me and you have known each other for a long time. Right? You're a gamer, you're this guy. Me and you had us fight right now on the mats. You know all about it. You're like, hell yeah, let's do this. Let's see what happens. The difference, though, is if I can put you into a cave and you can't see at all, I can see perfectly well. Now, how willing are you to have a fight with me? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And so I think sometimes you take away that vision from people, and it just stops them from doing dumb things that lead to use of force. So I think it's huge. I think it's a great benefit. I start to see the benefit of it, and transition pieces occurring more and more around the country. So I think it's a good thing. Critics are going to say was the militarization, whatever, man. I'll take it to 20 when we had Tommy.
Yeah. Yeah. No, those are really good points. That's like overwhelmingly positive and for it. But my question, I guess, secondarily would be, do you think it's not a blank in my head? I guess was what I'm getting at. I still don't think it's a blanket yes, because if a certain department doesn't have the time and inclination to train properly, wouldn't you say it's probably not a good idea? Like, you guys are an exceptional department that put a lot of training time in, like you said. You went out and you found good outside instruction and input on specifically what you guys were doing, and then you had a good spin up time frame before it was implemented. But if it's an agency that's not going to go to that process, do you think it's still a good idea, or within certain limitations?
So that's one of the things I get part of that, right? Social media guys will message me. I'm a copper, and this is what we couldn't have. We don't have any budget money. What do you think? And I think that the answer is do what you can do with what you have right now. Right now, you may not be able to go to a mission set yet. You may not have the training time that you need. But you don't necessarily know that until you start incorporating it into more than just woodland-based search procedure search in the wood line, which is where a lot of my team did their right there. PDS 14s. And the only time we broke that is when it was nighttime, and it happened to be a guy that went off in the woods. And in hindsight, how silly was that kind of thing? Just using it like it's meant to be used. But there's been a transition too, right? The GY has absolutely provided a whole bunch of technology and upgrades on the NVG side and the supporting equipment that will be successful. So, I, again, short answer is, it depends. I think one of the downsides maybe in America is that the term SWAT can be linked onto anything, right? So a team of 6 guys that train 5 hours a month is no different than a full-time team training 40 or 50 hours a month and having a huge mission tempo. And so I guess there's these particular limitations and capabilities are before you start trying to implement stuff that you probably should be doing. That's how we get bad caseload.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Just so you know, I just noticed here, and it was brought to my attention, I think we're getting a little bit of feedback audio from your end, Bill. So I don't know if you might want to lean in towards the mic or the computer. That might help a little bit. But there is
Okay.
some rough audio on your end, and I think that might help if you're a little closer. But all right, man.
Okay.
Let's see what we got next on the agenda. Oh yeah. So not too long ago, we did a low light course, or I took a low light course with you and some other people here at SureFire, and we were specifically talking about. I'm looking to see if I have a light to show, but activation of handgun weapon light X300, X400 style toggle, preferred methods. And so, you had talked about a lot of people do the support thumb thing where you're pushing it down for constant on during the course of fire or whenever you're needing to illuminate. And then to extinguish the light, you can rotate the gun, or you can knock the switch back to the neutral position. You, I believe, do an index finger activation to where on your draw you are sweeping that button down. I started doing that method in that last course, and you had told me about it long ago, and I had kind of just thrown it out the window as like, I didn't like the idea of my trigger finger doing anything else other than staying straight and off the trigger, honestly, and then B, I didn't think I could reach it consistently enough, and the couple times that I kind of just tried it, I was like, that doesn't feel too rock solid. This I'm 100% on every time. That said, this last class, it kind of opened up a light bulb for me, or turned on a light bulb for me, where to where it was a clear advantage, on the timer. I was able to illuminate, especially because it was kind of inclement weather. We had a little bit of rain, we had a little bit of wind, dust, whatever. And so, you're not just knowing exactly where the target was every single time. And the ability of that quarter second advantage of having the light turned on sooner was a big help to me. You want to talk a little bit about how you activate?
Yeah, so I in the classes, like you're right, I teach a variety of methods, and then I got what I'm doing. I have heard forever that my trigger finger should be activating lights and doing that kind of stuff, and my thumb can do it. Um, and I think part of this, man, is my experience in law enforcement, specifically carrying a ballistic shield forever on my team. So now I'm holding a ballistic shield in this hand. I got a pistol in this hand. I can't put the shield down, turn the light on, put the shield back up, and be fluid with it. And so I just automatically started working my trigger finger way back in the day, and then went to pressure pads, back to the normal switch, that kind of thing, and ended up with the idea that, when guys would tell me, hey, man, you should do that, that's dangerous for the trigger finger. At this point, at the point I started hearing that stuff, I think it was 15 years into my SWAT career, and had been doing it for a long, long time with no issues. And then the other thing to consider, what if you're injured, right? So not everything is going to begin with both of your hands working like you want them to work. And so now I'm holding something, I'm securing a child, trying to get my wife out of the way or whatever, and I still need the light to come on. And there's a lot of video out there showing guys doing one-hand manipulations of their for a variety, which is not just injuries, but other things. So now what do you do? And my philosophy behind that is, I don't want this, right, the activation with the trigger finger, I don't want that to happen for the first time when I have to do it versus training to be able to do it. And so I think that helped lead me along the way toward that path. And then the second part is, once I put it on the shot timer, just like you did, it allowed me to ID threats faster because the light's coming on a little bit sooner. Obviously, right on my draw stroke, which you guys have seen, but I'm in my draw, the light's coming on right now. I'm already getting a light bounce off the floor to help me determine what the guy is doing. He may have dropped his weapon, he might want to surrender, maybe he's fleeing, maybe he's arresting, whatever the ship. was supposed to curse.
You're good. It's live, man. You're
But
all
anyway,
good. It is what it is.
I want light to make decisions. So the faster the light will come on, I think I'm going to end up being better off. And as you said, it's proven on the shot camera. So I do teach, some activations. Once I tell them, I do teach the chop method where you come in. I get messed up my camera, right? Where you can come in and chop the button up basically as your support hand comes in. And then I do show guys this with the speech I just gave, which is on the draw stroke. I do press it down. I hold it for a moment in time. I don't want it to be a sweeping motion where I'm coming off it, right? So as it gets activated, I keep pressure on it. And about the time it pushes horizontal and I'm making the decision to shoot, I go back to the trigger and I'll work out what on any other draw stroke. I have found it to be perfectly safe. I know the filter switches for me. I don't know if you're going to be printed on the product, but those filter switches work well for me. I can't do it on a standard Safari lens switch as well, no issues. And then the other thing, guys talk about, well, what light should we use and this and that. And, one of the things, your competitors light switch, a lot of guys like it, and I don't because of the one size momentary only. So if I'm switching to weak hand, strong hand, I want to switch that is exactly the same, no matter what hand it's in. So that's why I prefer your guys' switch.
No, I think that makes a lot of sense. And like I said, I started shooting the same way now. And I do think there's a lot of advantages, like you said, not just on the timing side of things, but yeah, there's a lot of scenarios that you'd probably have to be one-handed activation, and it's super beneficial to train that way as opposed to have to do it, when you need it most. So that makes a lot of sense. As far as night vision stuff goes, do you think it's an essential capability or something to train to do white light transitions? Is that something that you train on doing from going to green to white quickly? And if so, how do you go about doing that? Are you physically putting nods up? Are you shooting under the tubes, or what's your method?
Yeah, so I think context is always important, right? And so there's a lot of dudes that are using night vision now that go hog hunting and coyote hunting and stuff like that. I don't think those guys need to be concerned about a quick white light transition piece based on what they're doing. Potentially on the mill side, talking to guys that are still active duty and what they do with night vision. I think they need it, but it may not be as imperative as on the cop side. And so on the cop side of the house, there is value in me being able to kick lights in a hurry, so that I can ID myself and the person seeing me can also ID me that I'm not the guy doing some type of robbery of the house, or some drug dealer coming in trying to rob or rip the guy off. So I think being able to turn the light on quickly is a good thing. And so the way that your equipment is set up on your guns needs to allow you to be able to do that. I think there's some advantage. I gave you this scenario that you may not want to fight me in a cave versus when you can see me. The flip of that is a compliant person. If I just come in and start snatching them in the dark, a normal person's response to being snatched is going to be to fight. And so potentially to limit that fight, quick blip of white light, I am the police, and then kill the light again so that I can move in under my vision and maintain the advantage there. For them the opportunity to get on the cops. It could be a whole bunch of stuff. I think you need to be able to aim actively with lasers and passively with your red dot sight. So my team on the coast, everybody had red dot sights on. The shield guys all had IR lasers for obvious reasons. That's the primary aiming tool. The answer is yes, man. You need to be able to switch to it in the law enforcement role for a lot of reasons. Long transition of stuff going on, right? And so the thing that came up is we're training and doing down officer issues and medical. The initial thing for everybody was, hey man, go white, go white. I wanted to see what they were doing on the medical side, right? Assessing injuries, that type of thing. We thought to ourselves, this is kind of dumb, but if we're being shot at and we want to solve the problem, going to white light may be the absolute last thing we want to do inside of a house. So we had to train medical under night vision, train defensive tactics, handcuffing, that type of deal. But there may be times when it's appropriate to get that white light on right now so that I can assess the injury. Right? I know, for example, the house is clear. Let's get white on in a hurry so we can start to assess and evaluate what needs to be done. So yeah, man, you absolutely need to have it in the law enforcement.
No, a lot of good points. A lot of good points, man. Um, yeah, I think that's about it on topics that we wanted to touch on. We're right on track as far as timing goes. You got any courses coming up that you want to let people know about? Anything like that, or at least maybe a website people can check out if they want to see some more stuff from TapRack?
Yeah, man, there are courses. My schedule calendar is filling throughout the year. Specific to this, I'm doing a couple of MVT instructor courses around the country, Montana, California, doing classes all over the country at this point. So if you go to the website, www.tap-rack.com, click the calendar and just scroll through. You'll see what the courses are, the ones that I have scheduled right now. Social media on Facebook and Instagram, I'm TapRack Tactical. I know flowers like flowers with a B. I typically will post up next 90 days type of thing to tell you what's coming and around that type of deal that get guys, as much information as I can get them signed up. My sign up process is a lot for some guys because some classes are restricted to LE or mail. You got to email me in case I need to tell you, to attend the courses. So click on the website, click on the contact, and you're off and running just touch the class.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for joining us, Bill. I appreciate the time. We'll talk soon, man. Have a good one. For those,
yeah, man. Just one last thing. That is the.
What's up? Go for it.
My bad. Just want to let you know that the human head weighs 8 pounds.
What's that?
The human head weighs 8 pounds.
I appreciate that, man. I learned something new today. That's crucial. Thank you. Parting words of wisdom from Bill Blowers, folks. All right, so for those on the live stream, we are watching the comments, man. We've been trying to work the audio piece of it. This is our first big live stream. We're figuring it out. So please bear with us, and thank you for the patience on that. But I'm watching the comments. I see you guys. So is the team back here, and we're trying to sort it out. That said, the next piece of this is we're going to roll into a cool behind-the-scenes video from the SureFire light manufacturing side. Really cool in-depth look from engineering, our turning center where our CNC machines are, testing, all of that stuff. So really cool quick video that we're going to roll into. After that, we're going to come back and we're going to sit down with a couple SMEs and talk about some new products and some lights. And then we're going to do the final set of giveaways. We still got some Scout Light Pros and some War Comps to give away, as well as some Ear Pro. So be sure to tune in for that. And yeah, let's check out that video.
One of the differences with SureFire is ours are built for people that are war fighters, and we've really take that serious and have done everything we can to make sure we have the very best product out there.
My name is William Wells. I am the Director of Mechanical Engineering. So once mechanical engineering has decided that this is a viable product, and we've gone through some meetings with our product management team, what we do then is we introduce the electrical team and get their inputs on the space claim that they may need to populate the boards that they'll need in our products. Once we get the product into the prototype phase, what we're able to do is we're able to take the product and hand it off to our program managers. We also will hand them off to subject matter experts in the sectors that the product would be utilized. We get all the feedback from our testing, our product testing, and what we do then is we move into our pre-production phase. And what we'll do is we'll actually move the parts, the component parts, into our machine shop and get actual product made. Once we have parts that are production equivalent, what we'll start is actually go into our testing phase.
My name is Mike Lasavio. I have been at SureFire for 15 years plus. I'm currently in charge of environmental testing and lumen and runtime testing, candela testing. Environmental testing is we do a number of tests that are based on MIL standard 810. All of our lights go through some sort of environmental testing, but weapon-mounted lights are the most stringent. So here in the environmental lab is we take a number of tests that we do to our lights. Initial one is an immersion where the flashlight itself is raised 27 degrees above water temperature. That's a 30-minute test. Once it comes out of that, they go into an environmental chamber where they are subjected to a high temperature rolling cycle. And then after passing that, they go into a low temperature cycle, very low temperature, from minus 51 degrees C back up to normal temperature and then back down to minus 30 degrees C. The next test that they go into is is a high humidity environment, where they do that for 11-day period, but it's a rolling cycle at 95 humidity and alternating temperatures between 30 and 60 degrees. Post that, they go into another test where they are subjected to what's called rainfall. It's an IPX4 test. And after they pass that, they go into another immersion test on IPX7. As well as those tests, is we do what's called a drop test, according to an ANSI FL1, where flashlights are taken and dropped on 6 sides. And then beyond what ANSI requires is we do another set of those drops. So here we are in the dark room. This is where we do lumen testing, we do runtime testing, and we check candela, as well as we can do beam intensity profiles in here. This is where we do lumen testing. And lumen testing is a matter of how much output or light is coming out of a flashlight. We do that with this particular system, which takes all the light that's coming out at the end of the flashlight, integrates it, take a measurement, call it a lumen. After that, we do runtimes, which we take the output that's specified by ANSI as far as maximum output, and then we take that value over to our runtime rack, where we take a measurement every second for the time when the flashlight starts to the time that it goes to 10%. After that, we'll do a candela measurement, again, according to ANSI FL1, where we take a flashlight and we put it on a photopic meter that measures in lux, and we take the distance we are from that particular meter and calculate what the candela number is. So the other thing that we do here is we do the calibrations for all of the test stations that are over in manufacturing. For that, we have a NIST traceable flux standard that plugs into the integrating sphere with a specific NIST traceable known value at the appropriate current, and calibrate this system according to this output. We then take that value or that calibration and use it in order to make sure that all of our test stations are reading appropriately.
Hello, I'm Gustav Bonse. I'm VP of Manufacturing. We at SureFire here, we machine all kinds of material, from aluminum to Inconel, stainless, all different materials. The machines we chose allows us to make our product in one setup. If you have 3 or 4 different types of machines, you have to train the people on different machines. Here I have to train people only on 2 machine types. And the machines throughout we have the same control. Everybody can operate each machine. A lot of companies went overseas to manufacture. We here at SureFire, we had made it here, but we had to invest in highly automated machines, highly accurate machines. But this gives us also the freedom to react very fast to market changes, to better quality, to design changes. We can ramp up machines and we can go to 3 shifts, 7 days a week, and we can satisfy our customers much faster, making it here. And the most important thing for me was to keep the workforce here. Engineering is about 10 minutes away from here. We work very closely together with engineering to make the manufacturability better. We have a very close relationship, work very nicely with our engineering department.
I'm Alex Su, Vice President of Engineering at SureFire. I oversee all the design activities at SureFire. Well, I think the key to the SureFire advantage is the fact that from concept to production, we design and manufacture here in the US.
Good morning, my name is Daniel Fischer. I'm the Vice President of Assembly Operation here at SureFire. Here we are doing our weapon-mounted lights, X300, Scout lights, XC models, XSC models. Let's go over to the warehouse where we actually see our incoming anodized parts, actually where the turning center left off, and we are actually picking it up from there. All right, in the process of building actually weapon-mounted lights and flashlights, we have a vertical lift module, which is called the VLM, where we are getting our jobs actually released from an ERP system, actually based on customer demand, based on forecast, depending actually which one is coming in first. And then we are releasing actually the parts here to the production, to the warehouse. And actually from here we are picking up the parts, where the worker, the operator actually can take their own parts and put the flashlights together there. Okay, let's see actually how we do our assembly out there on the production floor. In a general process actually, I mean, we are getting the PCB in there. We know actually the layout from engineering, so everything is done there. We are getting the parts out here. We are putting a solder paste on it, a very thin layer of solder paste over here. We are getting the bill of material to the machine, so we know actually what kind of a resistor goes on it, IC goes on it, what kind of a chip goes on there. The machine knows actually where to place it on the board. We are picking up the parts with the machine. Everything gets placed on it on a wet paste, on a solder paste. Later it goes into the reflow oven actually, where we reflow everything. And after the reflow oven actually we are doing a quality check. Everything actually gets inspected 100% here to make sure actually that all of our main components like the PCBs, I mean, which is the brain of the flashlight, I mean, that's the heart of the flashlight, I mean, that's where we are putting a lot of efforts in there. We are doing the CPU board, the power board, and everything actually gets tested over here for the correct layout, for the correct parts, for the integrity of the check, for the correct solder. Actually, that the soldering is done correctly. Everything is done here in-house at SureFire. In the next assembly process, actually, for every weapon-mounted light, for every handheld lights, actually, we have a reflector portion actually in there, a reflector or a TIR portion actually in here. A TIR is a total internal reflector, which projects the beam out there, so you have a really nice, tight beam together. So you have all of the candelas what you want to get out of it, and you can also see, I mean, very nicely in the far distance. What we are doing here actually, we are checking actually the TIR lens, that actually it's perfect, we don't have scratches on it, we don't have smudge on it, or we don't have fingerprints on it. After we did our brain assembly actually over there, which I'm referring actually to a CPU board and the power boards, of course we also need the LED assembly, which of course with the power board and the CPU board, actually we need to drive our LEDs. So we have a light coming out on the other side. This one is called a metal core board. We are using nowadays, we transferred pretty much like everything from aluminium over to a more expensive one, which is a copper board. But of course, copper has a better heat transfer, which actually transfers the heat much better to our heat sinks. And of course, the heat sinks transfers actually the heat outside to the environment and actually transfers the heat away from the LED. For the whole operation actually here at SureFire, we have always our quality checks actually in there, where the operator actually is checking the parts 100%. It's developed between manufacturing and actually in engineering.
Part of the role here in engineering is, for me, is to determine what type of technology that we can focus on, what's new in the industry, how to implement it into our product. So we're always striving to be the forerunner in technology. As such, we spend quite a bit of time researching new technology, what the advantages are, what the disadvantages are, what it can bring to consumers, to the military, to law enforcement. We strive to make the most technically advanced products as we can.
The parts to the specs. I mean, a lot of times is actually we are putting the boards together. We are checking actually the output already, the power output actually. So we see the voltage, we see the amperes actually what's coming out. And all of the things are dictated by our OAWs, which is an operation analysis worksheet. The worker goes step by step through the assembly process. And then afterwards, actually, if there's a quality check on there, we have different type of fixtures. And with the fixtures, actually, we are checking actually the parts here 100%. Since we followed through all of the steps during the assembly process, I mean, from the CPU board to the power board, stacking the boards together, putting the conformal coating on it, do all of the quality checks actually between it. Here we are on the final assembly of the head assembly, which is the most valuable nowadays in an assembly operations, in a flashlight, in a weapon mounted lights. We have the heat sinks, we have the LED assembly actually in here. We have the stack board actually in here, and then we also have the TIR lens together. For here, we are putting the TIR lens together with the heat sinks, and then we have a final bezel assembly, which goes either on a flashlight, can go on a weapon-mounted light, depending on the configurations, and then we are putting it together, or we are mating it together actually with the flashlight body, accordingly what the customer needs is. We are trying always in all of our operations actually from the stack boards, actually what we are doing is a conformal coating process. We try to build up as much as we can and do an operation actually in one stage, so we don't have to pick up the parts several times. Inside these machines we have the 6-axis robot. A 6-axis robot can articulate the parts anywhere, orientate the parts anywhere we want to orientate the parts. We engrave, I mean, highly complex engravings like an XVL, for example. an X400. I mean, everything is assembled to the top level and will be engraved actually afterwards in the top level as well. Again, here you can see like a KE head, which would go to the head assembly operation. I mean, we see here the marking actually a KE2. We are putting our barcodes actually on there, which is afterwards important for us as well, because at the end we do a final check where we are reading actually the barcode actually in there, which has a serial number on it, and actually the serial number actually is merged together with the light output. But at the end, what the customer sees, it's the light output, and that's what we promise here at SureFire. What we promise, what you will see on lumen output, that's what we are checking actually here at our final step. Again, we have the head assembly. We also actually have the barcode actually, which we saw during the engraving process. And in the end, we are doing a check where we check the lumen output. The operator actually combines the work order together actually with the serial number. He puts it in a sphere, and actually in the sphere actually we are measuring the lumen output. We are collecting all of the data, which is also like for us important, I mean, to see actually that we have a consistent light output during the whole process, and then it goes further and we are building it up actually in the final packaging operation. The light goes into the boxes. We checked it during the whole process, all of the quality checks. The lumen output was correctly. It goes in a end box where we have here like the nicer assembly boxes. We have clamp packs, we have poly bags, we have craft boxes. After everything is assembled and in the box, then it goes over to the shipping department. Lastly, we are here actually in the finished warehouse where we house all of our final products. And from here, we are shipping all of the parts around the world.
Hey folks, welcome back. Been watching your comments. Hope you enjoyed that video. Look behind the scenes. We've never really shown, a full tour like that. So we were really excited to give people a kind of glimpse behind the scenes and hopefully what, a better understanding of what makes us as far as the quality and whatnot. I'm sitting here with Jeremy Rosenberg, who's our Vice President of Sales and Marketing, and George Serengelis, who's our Director of Product Management. We're going to pick their brains on some product stuff in just a second. But real quick, there was some comments asking two things about the giveaways and also about the promo codes. So to reiterate, we're going to do some more giveaways at the very end of this video. To sign up, there is a link in the description. If you're on Instagram, there's a link in the bio on our Instagram account. Fill out your information, and we're going to draw some more names to give away. Up next, we have Scout Light Pros and some War Comps, and each one of those winners is going to get some Ear Pro from us as well. Also, intermittently, on the bottom of your screen, you're going to see a promo code. Those are one-time use only, website only, so you can't call in with those. You got to go on our website. You have to fully check out, seal the deal to make it work, which meaning there could be two people that use that code and they're checked out, but they're not going to finish running the order. The guy that runs it first is going to get it first. And they're one-time use only, so as soon as it's used, it will be no longer effective. You'll try to enter it and it will not work. So just be on the lookout for those. They're 40% off, and that applies to just about everything except for batteries. We have a very small margin on batteries due to the fact that we never wanted that to be a barrier of entry for our flashlights. One of the big revolutionary things was getting our lights smaller and brighter, and the 123s were a big component of that. And so we were trying to reduce the cost as much as possible to not have them be a barrier for entry for our customers. So we don't really have much margin on those, so therefore that discount doesn't work on our batteries, but everything else you should be good to go on. And just keep an eye out for those codes as they pop up. All right, I'm doing a lot of talking.
You got this.
All right, Jeremy and George, we got some new products, not a whole lot this year. Obviously, the industry's been going crazy, a lot of demand right now. So I think we're doing everything we can to kind of try and catch up as far as our back orders go. Scout Lights, X300s, just about everything are selling like crazy. What are we doing to catch up?
Yeah, I mean, as you said, our first number one priority is to meet the demand that we currently have, current products. Our industry has seen more demand since last March than I think we've seen in a very, very long time, whether that's guns, whether that's ammo, or in our case, accessories. Mm-hmm. And, for us, it's always a balancing act. We want to make sure that we're pushing out as much product as we can. So, we're adding machines where we're able to. We've added, second and third shifts where we're able to. We've also, improved our relationship with our vendors and improved our all the way up our supply chain. So I just want everybody to know that we're doing everything we can. We know you guys are waiting, and we're pushing X300s, we're pushing Scout Lights, we're pushing Pro Comps, all of those out as quick as we can, and we're ramping up, and we're going to continue to drive the supply. So.
Yeah, I think that's a really important message to convey, because I mean, I see it all the time on the comments on social. People are like, hey man, when are you going to make more War Comps? When are you going to make more Scout Light Pros? When are you going to make, man, we are cranking them out in higher volume than almost ever. And we're buying more machines to do more, running 3 shifts. So we're doing our best to catch up.
Yeah, I mean, we've shipped more product. We shipped more product last year than we have since 2013 in any year. So, I mean, we've done everything we can. We're continuing to drive efficiencies, and we're continuing to improve our output.
Yeah. On that note, George, a lot of products that we're going to launch kind of got pushed back because we're focusing on trying to catch up with the stuff we make right now in the backlog. So, unfortunately, not as much new stuff, just straight up, guys, not as much new stuff launching this year. But we do have a couple new things on the light side, and then also on the suppressor side that we're going to talk about tomorrow. So for right now, you want to talk about the new MasterFire Pro?
Yeah, so we have the new MasterFire Pro. Basically, it's a takeoff of the Legacy series that we've had out. And most people are familiar with that because it's open top.
Yep.
It'll accommodate a suppressor, which is really one of the unique features of the MasterFire Pro, along with any type of an optic that you put on the slide. As long as you can attach the weapon light to your weapon, it'll fit this platform. There are a few that won't fit, like a G40 from Glock, a little bit big, but they're far and few between that won't work with the MasterFire system. So now we've incorporated a leg strap, as you see there. The model I'm holding here is left hand, and it's shown with the cover on it without the leg strap.
That right there is a big deal because, for a while people have been asking for a left-handed model. When are you going to launch a left-handed MasterFire? You know what I mean? And so that's a big change as well for this second version, is now there's a left-handed available.
Yeah, this completes the system. So now it's truly a holster system now. With the left-hand option, we cover both sides of the spectrum there as far as shooters go. And getting back to the cover, if there's no need for a suppressor and you want a little more security, if you want the weapon to be
cleaner,
less visible, cleaner, that's what the cover's for. And you'll notice there's a rail built up on here. We're working on some accessories as well for this.
Maybe we should have as many people, like all of you guys don't need to be streaming, you know what I mean? Maybe that's not helping if we're on Wi-Fi here.
I'm not on Wi-Fi.
Oh, okay. But maybe, well, you can tell those guys. All right, cool. So I was just told the stream went down. Not sure what happened. Sorry for the technical difficulties. But again, this is our first time running this, so.
That's what happens.
So we're gonna, send it 223. Just said, and we're back. Exactly, we are back. So we were in the middle of going over MasterFire Pro.
One thing I did want to add on this, and that specifically to the shroud, is that was direct customer feedback that led to that, to a product improvement. So we released it without knowing, with the assumption this would be, primarily for suppressors, for optics, that kind of thing. And as we were getting out there, T&Es with agencies and with other folks out there, that their feedback is what led to that improvement and why that product is where we're at. So.
Sure, that's cool. And yeah, you can still remove it, like George was saying. I'm not sure when the feed got lost, but just, you can remove that cover if you still want to run a suppressor, which is a really cool feature of it. Also, it's kind of nice if you're going to have one holster and you can now have one weapon light that fits pretty much all of your handguns as far as cross compatibility goes. So you have a railed STI, you have a Glock, a Springfield XD, whatever it may be. You throw the holster series light on there, and it's going to work with that holster, which is kind of convenient.
Yeah, and every gun's different, so we've also taken that into consideration with how you mount the belt. Mount to a belt. You can adjust the slots here for different size belts. You can also change the cant to get the pistol to sit right in the holster. So there are a lot of little subtleties built into this, including a screw pattern here to where you can use other manufacturers' bracket systems like Safariland or Blackhawk or G-Code. You have the ability to just bolt it right on and run with it as well. So there's some versatility built into the platform in that respect.
Yeah, that's awesome. Diving in next, there's been a lot of comments and questions on this guy. You want to talk about the XSC? So first and foremost, I mean, we launched this last year, and I say launch with air quotes. So due to everything that's going on right now, we've had some issues with our batteries. They weren't meeting our quality standards right. So we kind of put that on hold, and we're gonna still continue forward once we sort this out, and we're not gonna let it out. Is that more or less what's going on?
And part of it too is the whole development process. When you're trying to make something so compact and still provide as much power as it can, there are hurdles along the way, and it was a learning curve for us as well.
Yep.
We've really come a long way with this. We're very comfortable with where we're at now.
Yep.
The product is solid. All the testing we've done, we're very comfortable with how well the product holds to the weapon. It doesn't loosen. The LEDs are holding up to the recoil and the shock and punishment of these pistols. So, you know, like anything we do at SureFire, though, we will not put it out to market until it's ready to go to market.
Yep.
So regardless of what it takes, we will put in the effort and the engineering time to get it right for everyone because,
Yep.
you know,
So
and I think that's the key message, right?
Yeah.
And as much as it pains us, and we know that everybody's out there waiting for these, and
Yep.
and we can't wait to start shipping them. There was a lot of pressure to ship, but we didn't, right?
Yep.
And because we're not going to release a product that doesn't meet our standards.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So the battery issue, we'll get it sorted. I mean, I think roughly, what are we, like a month out, 2 months out-ish for actually having quantity on the shelf?
that's a good estimate. Yeah.
So we're doing our best to catch up on these guys. For those not familiar, I'll just give a quick rundown on what the XSC is because it's a really exciting product. There is 3 models. This is a micro compact handgun weapon light. By micro compact, we mean this is the Glock 43 railed MOS version. There's a 48 railed MOS version. Springfield Hellcat has a version as well of the XSC, and then also SIG with their P365. All 3 of those pistols have different proprietary rails, so we have a different light model for each one of those. And I believe there's even going to be some more handguns coming to the market that utilize one of those 3 rails that these will be cross-compatible with as well. But the cool thing about it is it's super, super compact. You know, you can see that on this Glock 43. It's not wider than the frame. It's not longer than it, so you're really not losing anything as far as concealability goes. What's the output? 350 lumens?
350 on the output.
Yep.
Runtime's about 30 minutes per charge cycle. The battery does not, it can be removed without taking the light off the weapon.
Yeah,
so
that's pretty cool.
One of the really nice features built into this.
Yep.
It's easy to change out the battery. The charge, you get a charger that has 2 bays, so you can charge multiple batteries.
Yep.
You get one with the light, and then of course we'll sell them as accessory items as well.
Yep.
So it's a very convenient platform in that respect.
Yeah, and the reflector is a little bit different than what we've done in the past. It's a parabolic reflector. For the amount people here, especially nowadays, 350 lumens is not that much in most people's eyes, although back in the day, 350 lumens is a mountain of lumens. But with this specific reflector, you're getting a decent amount of candela given the size and the power constraints we have with this battery. Am I right?
That's correct. Yeah, we changed the optical prescription. We went from faceted to a smooth reflector, and that helps improve candela. So we have the lumens, and in this case here, by making the changes to the reflector, we managed to pick up some more candela to throw a tighter, farther beam.
Sweet. Yeah, so rechargeable, super concealable. XSC is an awesome light. We're sorry we're a little bit behind on shipping, but we're working on getting the batteries sorted, and we'll get those out, and we'll do a little bit of a relaunch when we're caught back up with it. We've gotten a lot of questions, so we kind of just wanted to address it straightforward. Unfortunately, not everything goes to plan, but as Jeremy and George said, we don't want to put out a product that is not going to meet our quality standards, so we're on hold right now. Next up, Spotlight Pro. We're going to talk a little bit about that. I think I got one back here. This is an awesome product that a lot of people don't realize some of the nuances with it. Number one, that it ships with both an M-LOK cleat and a Picatinny cleat. I can't tell you how many times I've like retold that to the same person, and they're like, wait, it comes with both? Yes, it comes with both. So you have the ability, as seen here, to mount directly to the M-LOK rail. Also comes with a Picatinny cleat if you have an old Mark 18 or any type of quad rail, Picatinny rail, or even on an M-LOK rail where you want to mount it on the 12 o'clock. Sometimes it makes more sense for that. The body itself is on a really cool swiveling system. George, can you talk a little bit about that design? Because it's a pretty cool design, and my understanding is that screw, I mean, personally, I have it loose for here to show the fact that it can articulate and swivel. But when I get it, like I'll run it here, I will crank the screw to make sure it does not back off. However, my understanding is you can have it at like 90% tension, so you can still move it, and it'll maintain that tension. Is that right?
That's correct. And part of the design that went into the mount system is it's actually a moving mount. There's multiple components to it. So you have the screw, and then you also have the screw block that is held in place with a roll pin. And there's a slot cut in it, so it allows it to move in and out as you tighten or loosen the screw. So it applies even pressure from both ends onto the pedestals of the body. So instead of putting any kind of stress by bending those pedestals, it's more even pressure by pulling in on that.
And that's how it's able to maintain pressure.
Correct.
Yeah, that's
even
cool.
pressure, and that's what allows you to do what you said, where you could, you don't have to go to full tightness. You can back it off just enough to where you have enough friction and pressure to where you can put it wherever you want, but it's not going to move on you. It's not going to flop.
Yeah, and that's pretty cool. I mean, a lot of people nowadays doing more night vision stuff. If you're running it up to, it's not a problem here with this particular setup, but if you're running it right next to a laser system, I could see having it be at 90% tightness and the ability to move it out of the way so you can adjust, potentially windage or elevation depending on which laser system you have. That could be a big advantage and a super nice feature. And then overall, I mean, it just allows you to get it as close in and sucked into the gun as possible, no matter what platform, AK SCAR, any type of foreign weapon system, you can tighten this thing up. Previously when we were doing RM45s, we were trying to split the difference between the myriad of rail specs of what could fit with everything but still be tight. Now you can make it as tight as possible no matter what.
Yeah, and get it exactly where you want it. And you can do it with common tools that are available in everybody's toolkit.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, so that's the new Scout Light Pro with that mount. The Scout Light Pro, we have every iteration of Scout Light available in that body. So this is the 6-volt, 2-battery standard white light version, but we have the mini Scouts, which are 1 battery. We have the IR Scouts, which are white light and IR. All the previous accessories work with them, so remote pressure switches, dual switches, all that good stuff. So yeah, that's the Scout Light Pro. Just kind of wanted to quickly touch on it for those not familiar with the differences and the upgrades on the Pro system itself.
Then to add on that, all the switches are compatible with the Pro series as well. So if you want to have a DS system where you have a redundant clicky built in and a removable pressure switch, all those accessories will work. So if you have them from an old legacy system, transfer them over. If you want to add it in, just buy one off the internet or call us on our customer service line.
Good points, good points. Yeah, if you have any questions on this, guys, I'm still watching your comments, so if you have anything specific, let me know. Make a frame for the SIG P320 and M17 with a built-in X300. You want a built-in X300 frame? If we could do that by next Tuesday, that'd be great.
Yeah, no problem.
We'll jump right on that. Anything else, let us know. We're doing one-off lights apparently here today.
Christmas is coming, won't it?
All right. If you guys have any other questions, jump in. Other than that, I think we're getting close to wrapping it up. We're about 1 o'clock. I'm going to do the last iteration of giveaways for who. This just in, I got the sheet during the video break of the winners for the second set of lights. But any update on the Scout, Vampire, more milliwatts? No, we haven't, I don't believe, changed the IR output of those. I don't think there's much customer demand for that necessarily just yet as far as actual milliwatt upgrades go. I mean, am I missing something there?
We have a standard, a baseline that we offer in our commercial off-the-shelf product line.
Yep.
There have been cases for special customers who are doing special things where we've made them little, the output has been increased. But, in most situations, the 120 milliwatts or the 100 milliwatts that you're getting is more than adequate.
Sure.
For really what the scope and range of the light's built for.
100%, 100%. See, that's an answer that normally I would nudge George at SHOT Show and be like, hey, don't say that to the film crew, but we're live here, so you just got it, you know what I mean? So try and catch us off guard, folks. This is what this is for. Let's see. When I announce the winners, make sure I choose this guy, send it. I'll see what I can do. Unfortunately, it's not your username. I'm going to read off the actual names for people that won. All right, folks. So reiterate, tomorrow we're going live again at noon. Try and get that audio issue sorted. We got Jared Rested joining us, and then we're going to show some other new exclusive content on the suppressor side, some really cool in-depth looks on how we make suppressors. And then we got Barry Duke joining us to talk specifics on suppressors. So have your questions ready if you have any specific suppressor questions. If you have a certain rifle and you're looking for the perfect can, let us know, and we'll see if we can answer all your questions there. Doing more giveaways tomorrow, more X300s, Scout Lights, Stiletto Pros, War Comps. We're doing all that as well. Be sure to join in, and we're going to do some more promo codes also. So the winners for today, and by the way, so this coming up, these first three are for War Comps. Bernard Urheil. Is that how you'd say that?
That's good.
Looks
Better than I
good.
would have done.
Bernard Urheil, congratulations. You just won a War Comp in 5.56. Ritsuki Miyazaki, you just won a War Comp. And Jesse Rosal, you just won a War Comp. Then for Scout Light Pros, I have Jiwon Kim, Quintin Hanjin, and Rory Perez for Scout Light Pro. So congratulations, folks. Obviously, just so you guys know, all ITAR and all that stuff applies. If we can't fulfill these obligations, we'll get you a consolation prize and we'll redraw for those tomorrow. Any questions, jump in the comments tomorrow. We look forward to having you back. Again, it's our first time kind of doing this, so bear with us for any issues. And thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.